Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the Predator World 8-Ball Championships. Alongside Tony Robles, I'm Jim Weitz. We're coming to you from the Convention Center in San Juan, Puerto Rico. A beautiful venue. Tables abound here. You've got all kinds of action. The CSI Caribbean Championships are going on, the World Junior 9-Ball Championships. But the focus of our attention, front and center, is the Predator World 8-Ball. And Tony, a young man, Carlo Biado, well, he pocketed the Puerto Rican Open Championship. I wonder if he's going to do the double here this week.
And that's his intention, and the way he's been playing this week, Jim, it wouldn't surprise me. But after seeing the previous match we did at 10 o'clock, where Ko-Pin Yi ran 6 racks and out against Thorsten Holman, he's gonna have a tough time with him as well.
Well, we just saw Yoshihiro Kitatani break. This is a winner's side matchup, race to 8, and a dry break from Kitatani. So our first look at the Puerto Rican Open champion, Carlo Biado. Comes into this event obviously on a high. And I'm very happy and fortunate to be sat alongside a man that knows this game inside out. So he's going to be able to determine whether we've got a contender or a pretender at the table.
Yeah, I seriously doubt Carlo's a pretender. but yeah, I know what you mean. I know exactly what you mean. I was actually surprised he didn't take the ball by the pocket first and use a 14 to go across to shoot those 2 balls. But this is Carlo Biado. He's not afraid to shoot from anywhere. Such a great shot maker.
And one of the more likable Filipinos, too. And you get that feel after he won the Puerto Rican Open. Oh, that one didn't threaten the pocket.
Did it block the pocket, though?
No, a long ways away. But again, first rack. And Biado wasn't really on this table hitting balls before, but Kitatani was. Biado was on one of the outside tables, and it had been there for almost an hour, I was told.
Sounds like something I would do too. I'm the same way. I play 5 p.m. and I already practiced for about 20 minutes.
Yeah, you can thank Ko-Pin Yi for that.
Yeah. Well, and thank you for making the suggestion.
Yeah, Ko-Pin Yi quick off the table, opened it up for my partner to get out there and hit some balls.
Overcut. It's always interesting when your opponent, it makes the game so much interesting, so much more interesting when they overcut ball, leave it by the pocket, and now it blocks your ball. That's why having a strong bank game is essential in 8-ball, because you run into this a lot. Very smart shot there. Wow. That doesn't look like the shot of a pretender to me, Jim.
This is one of the very few tactical forays we've seen.
But this is where banking comes into play again. Overcut. And wide open. Well, did the 3 block the 9 from going in? I'm not sure.
Well, this is a real chance now for Biado. First rack. It's a race to 8.
Might use a 13 to get to the 9 in the same pocket, Jim. If it doesn't go in the corner, that is.
And taking all the high-numbered balls at the far end of the table, Tony, a good tactical ploy here. Get down to where the 8-ball is.
Yeah, we spoke earlier yesterday about when you're playing 8 ball, you want to get rid of the balls in groups. Group A, Group B, Group C. You don't want to go from Group A to C to B to C and back to A. I think the 9 goes in. If you left the cue ball there, have to assume it goes. Yep, it does. Draw back about a little under a foot.
Good start, this one from Biado. Secures the opener, and he'll have the break in the next. So he is out of the gate. Kitatani had a couple chances in that first rack. But a player like Biado, you can't let him get some wind in his sails, because he'll lose you in a hurry.
Yeah, especially if his break is on. We just witnessed that the previous match with Copigny. Not only was it a great break, but was he breaking great, but I mean his cue ball control was amazing.
Yeah, he sent a message. Even Torsten Homan, after he'd run the 6-pack and out to close the match out 8-3, even Homan had to applaud the performance from Copigny. You certainly raised the bar in terms of what we can expect now. So that's why I was quite anxious to see what Biado was going to look like. Because he's definitely another player where they look where his name is in the draw.
And Biado also is one of those players that possesses a very powerful break. Had a little last-minute entry going there with the 10 ball. You know, to be quite honest, both groups are good, but I like the solids better because I'm not sure if the 13 goes past the 3 there. I guess it does if he's going to shoot the 15. Because I don't think it goes to the lower right-hand corner, does it? Past the 5 ball? The reason why he probably won't take the 6 is because it's tougher to control the cue ball. Yeah, I guess the 6 does go, I mean the 13 does go in. He can either leave that 14 for last there, Jim, or he can get rid of it as soon as possible. What I like about the 14 and the 13 is they're above the 8 ball. Let's see if he shoots the 13 now, get on the 14 and then use the 11 and the 9. And it makes perfect sense when you have a ball that's above the ball that's a trouble ball, because it makes it easier to play position on it as opposed to a ball that's below it.
Well, now the last 3 remaining, closest to the 8. So he's just got to connect the dots here.
I think he likes the 11. That's a good shot. If he can shoot the 11 to get to the 14, that's a great shot. You know how you're always looking to go towards a ball that you're shooting next? Well, this would be the opposite. It's going away from the line, but it's still on that same line. Almost came short there.
Yeah, little smile. He'd love that to have run on. Another inch even would have helped.
I thought he was going to come off the long rail and pass the 6 a bit to end up with the angle, guaranteed angle.
One good positional shot from this 9 to the 8. And Carlo Biado secures that, and a 2-0 advantage along with it. And that time a break and clearance. That's really what these top players are looking for. They want to try and keep their opponent away from the table for protracted periods of time. And, you know, they keep their back arm oiled and loose.
That's correct, Jim, and it's very important to keep them in the chair as long as possible, because with this format, it's very possible for someone to even run a set.
Yeah, it wouldn't shock me greatly if we see that.
It would be great to see.
It'd be even cooler to commentate on.
Yeah, yeah.
But 2 racks in the books here already, both gone the way of, as I've said, the recently crowned Medallia Light Puerto Rican Open champion, 10-ball. And if Biado does happen to secure this title, it'll be a cool 85 grand he'll
Wow.
be leaving San Juan with. Fond memories.
Oh, yeah. He'll definitely be back, that's for sure. Came dry there. He's probably thinking, how did nothing drop? That's what all players think whenever they don't make a ball in the break. Has a nice opening here. He can really choose either or. He doesn't really have any major problems. With the exception being the 9-ball, but that can be taken care of once the 13 is there. I would go with solids here, Jim.
Well, we'll see if Kitatani agrees. I mean, with the dry break, you know, if he's to have any shot of displacing Biado in this match, he's got to take advantage of opportunities when they come.
Well, he decided to go with the stripes, but he didn't exactly get prime position here on the 11. He's going to have to shoot over the ball.
Yeah, he's not making his work too easy. Just overrun what would have been ideal position.
Well, he's going to take care of the problem now.
Tough shot.
Very nice.
If he can shoot that straight,
Yeah, we might have a match here.
we definitely got a match.
I don't know if that's where he wanted to be. He wanted to get a little straighter on that 15. Gonna have to shoot the 14, 15. I mean, the 14 and 12 if he decides not to take, because I can't tell if he can get past the 8 or not. To be careful whenever you run into a ball like this, Jim, because it could potentially end up blocking or preventing you from pocketing another ball. Nice little touch here. I like that he put it below the 14.
Yeah, just off one cushion, come up and play the 14 to the same pocket.
So now he can either draw it back and play in the same pocket or follow one rail and then play it the opposite pocket. Which do you prefer, Jim?
You know what? For me, I always like drawing a ball. If I know I'm a little nervous, and I saw him shaking that back arm, so he's feeling it a bit.
Yeah.
And understandably. And that was a good performance.
Very nice.
2-1, he still trails, but Kitatani is going to have the break in rack number 4, and that was a much-needed clearance, and I'm sure that'll go a long ways to helping his confidence settle in too. Spent a little table time, get a feel for the conditions out there, the atmosphere that the TV tables present. And in terms of experience in that regard, Biado's a huge favorite.
Yes, he is. He's on such a high. When you get to that level of confidence after winning a big event like that, and he won a couple of close matches, Carlo did the previous match on the shootout, where he almost got knocked out by Jesus Atencio being one of them.
Yoshihiro Kitatani from Japan. They've got Japanese photographers here doing photos for the Japan CueSports magazine, and they were taking pictures of Yoshihiro just prior to this match. And as I said, this is a winner's bracket matchup, both players having won their opening rounds.
Yeah, I think you need it on these tables. You have to give it that extra oomph, and he didn't have it there.
Almost drew the cue right back out of his bridge. A la Francisco Bustamante.
What a break he possessed, huh? You know, I played him in San Diego in the 90s, and he beat me, I think, 11-2. And his average was four balls on the break, playing 9-ball, 4 balls on the break. And at one point in time, I looked at the crowd and I said, "Did you feel that?" I said, he broke the ball so hard it felt like the table was shaking.
Special player.
Sure is. Oh, nice little combo there. Nothing major here. He can shoot the 8 in either side pocket, in either corner pocket.
Side pocket for the 12. He's got a bigger pocket there with that 4. Didn't use it. This is what he'd like to see every time he comes to the table, a layout like this.
Oh, yeah. Who wouldn't, right? No, I think he's going to go 2 rails to the side or to the corner. What do you think, Jim?
Well, he's got plenty of angle. He can play this with personal preference. It looks like he's opted for the side pocket for the 8. Probably a better choice because cue ball traveling less. And to get back to that 2-rack advantage, secures the 8, and 3-1 is confirmed. The dry break from Yoshihiro Kitatani capitalized on. And Biado, he's such a likable guy. I was starting to talk about this earlier. You know, he's one of the popular Filipinos when they're all coming up and congratulating him after his big win a few nights ago. And I mean, he thanked the crowd. He put his hands together and
He was very appreciative, yeah.
Yeah.
A very humble guy.
Very humble. As are all the Filipinos, really. You know, they're happy and very proud. They represent their country with pride and respect. And every one of them, I think they all feel blessed to be traveling around the world playing pool. And I mean, you mentioned somebody like a Bustamante or an Efren Reyes. Anywhere in the world to a Filipino, they know who you're talking about.
That's
and
correct.
It doesn't matter what continent you're on.
It's true. I don't know if you know this, but he's actually taken Robbie Capito under his wing.
No, I didn't know that.
Robbie Capito came to the States earlier this year and started playing on the Pro Billiard Series and almost won one of them. Lost to Aloysius in the Michigan Open. And he told me, he said, Tone, he said, I thought I was working hard before with my game until I hung out with Carlo for 2 months. He says, I'm doing nothing compared to this man. I'm going to have to start upping my my training. That's how hard Carlo works. That's why he's getting rewarded. You said it yesterday best. He says you only get whatever you put into it,
Yeah.
right?
Yes, and I mean, Biado, he allowed Yoshihiro to spend time on this table practicing. He was on the outside table, but he was there for a good hour before this match.
Well, I can tell you this. He's got his work cut out for him here. That 7 is a big problem for him. So 15 doesn't go in the lower. I'm always looking for a ball that might be able to break out. The only thing I can think of here is if he can get slightly above that spot with the 12 ball, bump the 10, 11 out enough to leave it by the rail and end up with a shot in the 9, possibly in the side or in the corner. That's the only way I see him running this table, Jim.
He cleared the one rack that he won. Wasn't necessarily the conventional path to the finish line, but he got there. Played some tricky shots and played them with a lot of confidence.
Yeah. You would think that given where he wound up in the 11, he would consider shooting the 11 off the rail and off the 7. But look, he got exactly where I told you, slightly above the spot. He had to hit that with perfect speed to get there, though. But he got there. Now all he has to do is manage the speed of the 11, make sure he puts it close to the rail to where he can still make it past the 7 and end up with a shot on the 9 ball. Not too hard, not too hard.
That's close to being perfect. If that 11 passes, it looks like it does.
Yeah, it does.
He's still got to find a pocket for that stripe in the middle of the table just above the 8 ball, though.
If he shot the 9 now, there's a chance that he can go across for the 15 on the side and use a 15 for the 11.
He's playing on it now.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he ran into it, but he was fortunate. Now all he has to do is roll it in if he's able to. Question is, can he roll it in and prevent going behind the 2 ball, or does he have to hit it with some speed to go up?
Yeah, this isn't a full pocket. He's having a look at it.
Yeah.
And you can see right down the angle. If he plays this at speed, that pocket shrinks.
Yep, that's exactly what happened. He undercut the ball. See, anytime you shoot that shot, Jim, you're always supposed to try to hit the long rail. Long rail increases the chances of you pocketing it, especially at that speed. It would have gone in. But he, unfortunately for him, he undercut it.
You can actually even play this shot, the 2 to the long corner. If he follows through, he may not even leave Yoshihiro's last ball on, even if he did miss.
If he's able to hold the cue ball, he's going to shoot the 6. If not, he's going to probably try to get rid of the 4 and the 7 next. No one end up behind the 8. And honestly, Jim, it doesn't matter which ball he leaves for last. The 8's wide open in the bottom two pockets. I guess he's going to use a 7 to get on the 8. Yeah, it's such a short, compact stroke too, right, Jim?
Yeah, good under pressure.
Mm-hmm. Less likely to make a stroking error, right? Do most snooker players play with a shorter stroke?
They do, but with snooker, because of the size of the table, you know, they'll let the stroke out a little bit more when they've got a long power shot, but when you get in around the black with the reds, they can tighten it up, Tony. But Carlo Biado exemplifying a short action that solid under pressure. As we look around the scene here, as I said, there's tournament play going on all around the convention center here in San Juan. You've got the World 9-Ball Junior Championships and 44 countries represented in the CueSport activities that's going on in San Juan all week. You've also got the CSI Caribbean Championships alongside the showcase event, the one that we're focusing on, the Predator World 8-Ball Championships. And just a great time to be a pool player and a great time to come to San Juan.
It is.
Racked
For me,
up.
the showcase event are the juniors.
Yeah, for sure, Tony. It's, I mean, it's inspiring when you see these young kids playing at that age. And Carlo just with a kind of shrug of the shoulders.
Like, what do I have to do to make a ball on the break?
Pretty pleased with the score line, though. 4-1 right now in his favor, even though he's breaking dry. But Yoshihiro, he had a chance in that last one. Missed that 11 to the bottom corner pocket. We'll see if he can't straighten that out. He's got to show Biado that he's a threat. That message has to be sent.
Yeah, because given that shot he made earlier when he won the first frag, you said if this is any indication, we're in for a match. But he made a couple of errors. Look, that's one of them there. Whenever you run into a ball, you should always be mindful whether or not it could potentially end up creating a cluster. That way gives you a better idea what speed to hit it with, right?
Yeah, and to Tony's point, he's pushed that 5 in front of the 10 and covered the pocket for the 10. So he's made his life a little more difficult in this rack. I mean, that now, as you look at the table, that 10 is the problem ball.
That's why banking has always been a requirement when it comes to playing world-class 8-ball. Kolpin Yi shot 1 or 2 banks against Thorsten that match too. That made all the difference.
Yeah, he may have no choice but to bank that 10 if he gets that far.
Mm-hmm. Unless he plans on running into it now, I don't even know if he has an angle to do that. No, he's going right towards it too.
Oh, no time like the present, Tony.
Yep, and this is a key shot for him. Came short.
Yeah, another let off. And you just get the feeling Biado's going to punish him again. Kitatani with a lot to think about. He's had his chances. Biado has not broken nearly as well as he would have liked.
And if Carlo wants to win in this event, he's definitely going to need to step up his breaking, his pocketing balls on the break. That's going to be the key to winning this event, no doubt about it. So let's see what he's going to do with the 5 ball when he gets to it. He can use a 5 ball to play the 4, not now, but he can use a 5 ball to get to the 4 down table. Can even shoot the 4 first. I prefer to shoot the 5 first, though, because it makes it easier to get down. But maybe he likes to go 3 cushions or go across the table with the 5 ball. Are we going to see a little game of 1 pocket here, Jim? Is he going to make all 3 balls in the same pocket? Got a little funny on that 3 and the 6. Wonder if we can get a better look at the angle from the 6. Is he going to go 3 cushions? Or can he go underneath the 13? 3 cushions. Better watch the side pocket.
He was tracking for it. And Tony, he's still got a lot of work to do, even though he's just got the 6 and the 8 left. Just overdrew that one slightly.
Fortunately for him, he has a really nice angle. He really has a perfect angle to get on the 8 ball, one rail. Did he underhit it? He underhit that, Jim.
Yeah, by some margin. He's got no choice but to bank it now into the same corner that he intended.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, he's just called it. The bank into the corner pocket. He's showing you with his cue. It's going to be a good shot to finish off the rack. If he misses it, it's going to cost him the rack.
Ooh, he overcut it badly.
Well, that's how big it is to have position. You've got to have that angle. And Biado lost position, the tail end of what he hoped was going to be a winning visit.
See, I like shooting the 15, the 13, and then the 10. Come down for the 8 here.
It's kind of 6 to 1, half dozen of the other, Tony. He's still going to leave that 10 to last.
Mm-hmm.
And to pull one back, get to 4-2. And 4-2 it is. Yoshihiro Kitatani will break in the next. And we'll see if he can put a few packs together here. Threaten Biado.
So, Jim, besides doing commentary and hanging out with your friends, what's been your favorite part of Puerto Rico, your Puerto Rico experience so far?
Well, for sure, you don't shovel sunlight. It's snowing in Toronto, so
Yeah.
being out here where, you know, mid-80s in temperature or, you know, 28, 29 degrees centigrade, you've got to love the climate here. The people are so friendly too, Tony, and it's just such a nice part of the world. I'd never been here before, and I was pretty eager when I was asked to come down and join you and the commentary team. The fact I hadn't been to Puerto Rico before, you know, certainly played into my decision. You know, I had no idea it was going to be as nice as this. I'll be honest with you, even the venue.
Yeah.
This is about as nice a venue as I've seen to host any type of CueSport event. And I've seen a lot.
Yeah, they said it's relatively new. It's about 3-4 years old, they were telling me, and it has the latest technology with LEDs and screens and everything. This is very, very impressive.
And I would be remiss if I didn't mention the cuisine here too. You've guided me a few times with what to order, and yeah, the food's terrific. Sample some of the local cuisine. It's a great place to holiday.
Caught a bit of a roll there. I think the 13 hit the point of the side pocket and then went straight. Oh, no, they got kicked by the 5. Okay. Sometimes you need that little bit of luck to make a ball on the break, huh, Jim?
You do. You do, and a chance. You know, it's one of the few times we've seen a ball made on the break here. This table's
Yeah.
been breaking pretty tough.
I think right now is a perfect opportunity to address that 12 ball if he decides to go with stripes. Because he can always use a 14 to get to the 9 at the latter part of the rack. I don't think I would have done it like that, Jim. I don't. It's tough. It's tough to get around when you don't have an angle. If he wants to, end up having position where he can move the cue ball a bit with no effort, he might have to play the 10 ball next after the 12 ball. 10 in the side. He wants to address the 9 ball. If he feels comfortable with that, more power to him.
Couldn't get that cue ball away from the cushion, so he's left enough space to get on the 9 here.
But now, how is he going to address the 11? You know, if he shoots a 10 next and uses a 14, then he can use 11, but he still has to get good. Wonder if he can go across and end up with the 11 in the same pocket as a 10. That would be ideal. It's just that the 5 is kind of impeding the 11 a bit there, Jim. Unless he intends on going 3 rails and playing the 11 in the same pocket. No, he's going to go the other way. Definitely took the tougher route here. Would you agree, Jim?
Absolutely. I'm still even getting from the last, getting from here to the 8, not straightforward.
Because now he has to contend with the 3, he has to contend with the 6, he has to contend with the 1. He might just draw it and hope to get past the 1 or follow and even if he ran into the 1, he would be okay. Can't hit that kind of hard though. He still got there.
He's given himself a chance. It's a tricky 8, very missable a shot. This will be a good performance if he can get this 8, because this was far from easy.
And not just that, he would come within 1 game.
Yeah, he's
Very
there.
nice.
Great performance, that one from Yoshihiro Kitatani. He pulls back to 4-3 now, just 1 rack adrift. But that was not straightforward. Right at the bottom of your picture there, as we look at the beautiful convention center. Right across from the rooms, the hotels that they've put us in, and they're spectacular as well. I was telling a few of the guys, you can fit 4 guys in my shower, Tony.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Biggest shower I've ever had.
I'm staying at the Sheraton, and you're staying at the loft, or the A loft. I'm not sure how you pronounce it, but I'm going to try the A loft from next year. I heard it's brand new. I heard they just built it.
Yeah, that's what the cab driver told me when he dropped me off from the airport. Said it was a new hotel, very nice.
But the Sheraton Hotel is a happening place too. They have a couple of restaurants there. Have traditional Puerto Rican food, delicious. I don't know if you tried the Metropole.
No,
restaurant.
I saw it though. It's got the casino in there as well.
You should definitely try a dish at the Metropole before you leave. It's really good.
I will do that, Tony. You're my
Get steak with onions and traditional Puerto Rican rice with beans. Oh, it's awesome. I'm getting hungry just talking about it.
Well, no friends at the table this time. Pulled 2 racks back. But Biado out of his chair. You see him looking around the table, trying to discern which suit to attack.
Well, the 1 and the 4 would be a problem unless he can use a 3 to get to it. I think that's what he's assessing here. I need to take a better look at the stripes. Yeah, I think that's what he's going to do because the 3, 5, I mean the 5, 6, 7 are on that side of the table. And his cue ball control's so good. Look how perfect he got on that. Even if he wound up with an angle on the 4, he can always use a bottom rail to get to the 4 if he doesn't land perfectly on the 1. He can even tap the 4 if he really wanted to. Just hit it with a little bit of right so you can turn the ball with the spin.
Not much angle here with which to work, though.
Yeah, he's going to get on the 6 ball and then use that. Let me see this angle. I think he wanted a little less angle than that. The question is, can he go with follow to the top rail? Can he hit the ball full enough to draw it?
Well, that may work out. He can play the 5, come off the cushion. He'll leave the angle on the 7 to the side to drop onto the 8, the bottom end of the table. So this has worked out okay for him. He can even play the 7 to the same pocket.
Very nice.
Yeah, he doesn't waste a lot of time. When he sees the balls, he gets through them quick. And back to a 2-rack cushion at 5-3, and he'll break in 9. But when Biado gets his tail up, he gets to the finish line pretty quick. He wastes little time. Like you said, Tony, he's got that short stroke. You know, very good
Short,
under
compact
pressure.
stroke, yeah. And you said a lot of snooker players use that earlier.
They do. They choke up. Their backhand moves up the butt of the cue and choke up. When they don't need power, they try and reduce that action where you're pulling the cue back. You don't need power.
Right.
Steve Davis was the master at it, and he was tall. You know, if you ever watched him when he got in tight with the balls, his backhand usually went a little further towards the middle of the cue up the butt. just made it more compact.
I'll tell you an interesting story about Steve Davis. I was 15 years old when I read my first issue of Billiards Digest, and I read a story on Steve Davis, how he was a world champion snooker player, whatever, this and that. And I said, wow, that's got to be amazing playing on a 6x12. And I had just started playing pool like 2 years prior, but, you know, not that much. If someone would have told me back then that I would be playing on the Moscone Cup with Steve Davis on the European team, I would never believe it. When I saw and met him for the first time, I was like a kid in a candy store. I could not believe that he was there. It was awesome. And what an amazing player. Pool player too.
You know, I was there, Tony.
Yeah, pool player too. Wow.
I remember all those early days of the Moscone Cup. Some of the players representing both Europe and America, and special times, special memories, and you make special friendships.
You do. Steve was an awesome guy, and we went to the bar to celebrate after we won that year, and Steve was there, and there was this one guy from that area in Holland that was completely blasted. I mean, you just couldn't wake the guy up. He was bald-headed, so Steve went ahead, took a Sharpie, and signed his autograph on top of the guy's head. it was hilarious.
Well, Biado successful off the break, and you can see that 8 in the middle of the table. He may not waste any time to try and dislodge it, but that's the problem ball right now as it sits. Everything else for him looking pretty good.
He just needs to manage the cue ball to play position. Let me see if I can get a look at the table. It's hard to tell what he's going to play here. Could be the 15 or the 13 in the side if he comes off the 8 and the 1. Oh, he'd come at the top of it. So I'm assuming the 13 goes in the side. If it does, he's out. He's definitely out here.
Yeah, our overhead camera tells you that 13 definitely goes.
Mm-hmm. It's going to go either 2 cushions or 1 cushion. I like going 2 cushions for the 12.
Well, you'd like to be pretty straight on this 12. And this doesn't look too bad. Just slow roll it through. He wastes little time.
He does.
When they're there, he plays this game like he's double parked outside. And that takes him to 6-3. Reestablishes that 3-rack advantage that he enjoyed a short while ago. And he's starting to get a little closer to the finish line. Still the break to come in rack number 10, but Biado stamping his authority on this one. The juniors in action, the World Junior 9-ball Championship here in San Juan. The CSI Caribbean Championships going on in the back, the very back of the conference center.
Picking up right where he left off, right, Jim?
Yeah,
10 ball.
he's riding a wave right now, Biado. He may as well be on that surfboard out in the ocean. And a good break will give him a chance to get even closer to that finish line.
Nope, came to try again. How many dry breaks have we seen already this entire week?
All he can do is scratch his head.
I mean, he hit those great. Tim DeReuter was saying, no, but he can still hit them a little harder and forget about control of the cue ball.
It is a mystery, isn't it?
Yeah. Tim's actually playing now as we speak.
Yeah, he gave Chang a good run for his money last night.
He sure
The
did.
defending champion.
Lost by two racks, 8-6.
Our colleague, Tim DeRuyter, out there, as is Tony, in this tournament as well. I said to Marcus Schmidt, I says, thank goodness, Marcus, you didn't bring your cue. or Mark and I'd be doing the whole event by ourselves.
Yeah. Yeah, you would be doing every round, Jim. No breaks.
No breaks, no lunch, no dinner, no hope.
You would have been able to handle it.
I remember doing a snooker event with a real good buddy of mine, Phil Yates. One of the first snooker events I think he did. It was called the International Open in Bournemouth. We did the whole snooker tournament ourselves.
Wow.
And needless to say, when we were done with that one, Tony, we were both brain dead.
Oh, I believe it. I ran the Predator Tour in New York for 12 years. And although we miss the people immensely, we really do. I don't miss running the actual events myself because I feel like it's opened up a lot of time to spend with my son. Now I can watch every single one of his baseball games. But yeah, it wears you out. Very nice shot there.
Yeah, he's really done all the hard work. Everything's there. And he's fallen 3 racks behind again, so he needs this one. That sense of urgency, though he'd never show you, it's got to be there.
I wonder if he's thinking of shooting the 2 and playing the 4 in the same pocket. I think that's what he's doing. Came a little short, but he should be fine there. I'm just trying to figure out if the 8 ball goes past that 15. If not, he's going to have to play it somewhere else. Jim, his 8's a little tricky here.
That one thought about staying on the table. Not the cleanest strike that you've seen from Yoshihiro.
Well, we're about to find out if the 8 goes past the 15, or is he going to play for the opposite pocket, or if he's just going to try to draw back for the side pocket. I don't know if he has an, yeah, he has an angle. Need to watch it for the side pocket if he does. Oh, he does go in the corner. He's good.
Got to stay steady on this one. There's a lot of pressure on this 8. Just follow through on that intended line. Nicely struck right into the heart of the pocket. 6-4 it is. And Kitatani will break in rack number 11. He's letting Biado know that he's in for a match.
Yeah, I'm still here. And I mean, you know how this game is in 8 ball. You make a ball on the break, you come within 1. Might be a chance to tie it up. But as Jim always says, you have to stay in the present, right, Jim?
Key to success. Keep all those negative thoughts on the sidelines and focus on the here and now. See if he can put a few good breaks together. And once again, threaten Biado. He's got a hard break too, Tony, for nothing to find gravity. Now,
I mean, look at all those balls moving, and it's crazy.
Yeah, he doesn't know what he's doing wrong. Neither do we. And he's left an inviting table here for Carlo Biado. Solids.
Yeah, Kitatani knew that he needed to make a ball there to even have a chance, but I mean, this would put Carlo on the hill. Let's see how he manages a 4 in the side. If he's going to use one of these balls up here to get to the 4, is he going to use a 5 to go 3 rails to shoot the 4 ball in the side pocket? Little inside spin there. See, that's the whole thing. When 8 ball's a thinking game, and sometimes you're forced to shoot a little faster with the shot clock going on.
And he's looking at all the balls. Still a few options here.
Mm-hmm.
And how he decides to take them out.
I think he can use either the 3 or the 1 to come to the center of the table for the 5 and then spin 3 rails for the 4 if he wanted to. Now, he might have just the right angle to play the 4 on the side and leave the 5 for last. But I like the 4 better as a key ball because it's above the 8, but it looks like he's planning on going there. The good thing about that shot, even if he overhits it, he still has a 4 on the side if he ends up behind the ball, which I doubt he's going to do. His control is just too good.
Willing that
Very
cue
nice.
ball on.
Yeah.
And that's pretty good.
Would you go 3 rails here for the 8 in the same pocket, or would you try to hit it with outside spin and play it in the same pocket, or possibly in the opposite pocket, just killing it?
Yeah, I'd limit the movement.
Yeah.
I
There you
mean,
go. Yep.
he's keeping it as simple as possible, and
Yep.
almost always an equation for success. And he gets to the hill. Biado, 7-4 in front of Kitatani. And he'll break for the last time in the match. And if he sees a ball go down, the writing could be all on the wall here. Not quite the kind of performance we saw from Ko Pin-Yi, but it's been workmanlike, I think it's fair to say,
That's correct.
from Biado.
Yeah, I would say the difference is for Ko Pin-Yi, he, fortunately for him, he was making balls on the break, where Carlo has come dry on the break quite a couple of times. I just like seeing the look on his face when it comes up dry. All the players.
Yeah, it's
Like, what do I have to do? Can I buy a ball on the break?
just a look of shock.
He broke from there earlier and came up dry. Oh, now he's moving even further.
7-4 lead. He's on the hill.
Let's see Carlo's face.
Well, there it is. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, that's what he say. Yeah, that's what we all say, Jim. We're always complaining about the break whenever we fail to pocket a ball.
Well, there's no time like the present now for Kitatani.
He's got to take stripes here. 4 is in such a bad spot. He shoot the 15 and the 9 in the side. He decided to come out. Okay. When does the 11 go? He should get rid of that 13 as soon as he can, Jim. I think the 13 would present a problem because this is the perfect time to get rid of it. What do you think?
And he's on a ball
Yeah.
to drop onto it right now, too, so. He's just walking around again, surveying the situation, trying to get it clear in his mind. That's something with pool, too. You always have to be committed. Once you get down, don't be torn between 2 or 3 thoughts. Know exactly what you're doing.
Yeah, I'm just wondering if when he moved the 11, he hit it too hard because it no longer goes past the 5. So that was definitely a mistake there. And it doesn't go on the side because the 1's blocking it. Might be, so it can definitely make it in the upper left-hand corner pocket.
Yeah, the 14 would have been a good ball to drop onto that 13 as well, Tony, here.
Mm-hmm. Oh, so the 11 does go. Okay. So I guess he's going to use the 9 and the 12 for last because he's going to need to get rid of that 13 after the 14. If he decides to leave it after the 9 to 12, he's going to have to work a little harder to get there. Okay, so he's going to shoot the 9. I mean the 12. Not a bad pattern. It's not a bad pattern.
No,
Wasn't the easiest pattern, but
he's just putting all his eggs in one basket because
Yeah.
there's only one ball he could use now to get on that 13, and that's
Yeah.
the 14. So he's got to have a good angle in depositing this 9. He's got to use that 14 to drop onto the 13.
and I think a big mistake that I've seen a lot of straight pool player and 8-ball players make is they don't understand the power of running into a ball. Because if he had shot the ball that was in the rail earlier, even if he rolled down and he had too much of an angle 13, what's wrong with running into the 8-ball? You have an insurance ball in the side pocket.
So try and float this in, play the 8 to the same pocket.
Mm-hmm. Very nice.
Yeah, nicely executed. And nicely completed. So that's 1. He's got to pull back, 7-5. Now, can he break successfully and hold serve here? He needs to stay at the table. 3 racks to be played. Kitatani needs them all.
And he's also been struggling with pocketing balls on the break. Do you happen to know when the juniors are ending? Is it today or tomorrow or?
I don't, Tony. I think with the amount of players that are left, it's probably going to be tomorrow.
I
There's
would
still
say
a
so
lot
too.
of juniors left. We have 128 players that kicked off the Predator World 8-Ball Championships yesterday. First day of the event, and it was actually our 5th day here after finishing up with the Puerto Rican Open.
Yeah, nice cue.
Now,
Oh, let's see if he makes a ball on the break. Nope.
what can you say that hasn't already been said or felt?
We truly are, as players, a glutton for punishment, aren't we? I tell people all the time, we're in a constant pursuit of perfection, knowing that we can only achieve it for small little increments at a time, because no one could ever achieve total perfection all the time. So there's a lot of suffering that comes along with that.
Truer words have never been spoken, Tony. There's a lot of suffering that goes into making of a pool player at every level.
Yeah, if someone made a documentary on the making of a pool player, the word torture would be in it a lot. Suffering. I like the patterning. I like shooting the 11 afterwards and then using the 9 to get to the 10. I guess he doesn't like that.
Yeah, and it looks like the 8's far enough out in the open where it does need to be developed.
Oh, no, the 8 goes. Yeah, the 8 definitely goes here. Do you think maybe he came short? That's why he's smiling? That's the only thing I could think of.
So in other words, he liked your idea. He just didn't get there with the cue ball.
Well, he's there now. And he can use a 10 to get to the 13 and a 13 to the 14. And the only danger is ending up over the 2. Oh, but look, he's going to use a 10 to get there. To each their own, right, Jim?
Yeah, whatever gets you to the finish line.
That's right. I just like the other ones as key balls because it's easier to get you to the center of the table. So for players out there that don't have the control that Carlo Biado has, that's something you might want to take into consideration. But at the same time, you have to master these shots. That's why these players play at the level they play.
Yeah, it's a good point, though, Tony. You know, when you've got the kind of control of a U.S. Open champion as Biado is and does.
See, he touches his heart.
Just got there. This 8 ball for the match. And it's there, and Biado scrapes through. There were some anxious moments. He's certainly got to work on his break, but it's an 8-5 win. Carlo Biado over Yoshihiro Kitatani, and he is through to the second round now, carrying the Philippine flag very high. Well, for Tony Robles, I'm Jim White. We hope you enjoyed that. There is a lot more action coming your way, and we're going to be up again very soon. And let's wish Tony all the best. He's going to be taking his cue out very soon, too. Tony, good luck in your next match.
Thank you, Jim.
All the best, folks. We'll see you back soon.